Jesus Christ, I'm starting to feel like a sports highlights commentator for social, political, and economic issues. Can't go one day without having 30 goddamn games to cover. I liked it when I could focus on like 3 big topics a week. Now it's like 3 big topics every fucking hour. We got that Animorph that got stuck halfway in between turning from a human into a pug running the FBI. And then the Senate, both Democrats and Republicans were like, hey there, Patel Patrol, you've been a complete another fuck up, and we need to have a little chat. He gets called in for another incredibly embarrassing hearing for a pumpkin pie Pol Pot appointee. He gets there and he's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do perjury the whole time. I mean, after all, who's gonna hold me accountable? The party of law and order? Those are the dipshits that put me in charge. This motherfucker gets out there and then just straight up lies about everything. This half-squeezed stress ball literally said under oath that Epstein did not traffic children to anyone. It wasn't even like there's just no evidence that he didn't traffic children to the Sherbert perverts, which still would have been an obvious lie, but at least it would have been narrower in scope. It's just that he didn't traffic them to anybody, apparently. Pay no mind to the woman who is currently in prison because she was convicted of helping him traffic those children, and disregard the fact that she was just moved to a country club prison in exchange for helping cover up the fact that the Copperfield Führer was involved in said trafficking. And remember that Epstein didn't kill himself while sitting in prison charged with said trafficking. He also choked and stumbled over the question of, does Donald the Diddler's name appear in the Epstein files? Then when asked how many times heavy petting Putin's name appeared in the Epstein files, like 100, 1000, he sidestepped that question altogether and then eventually said he didn't know. When asked if he would meet with Epstein's victims, he said he would not personally do that. It was rough, and then after like 3 hours of committing blatant perjury while getting massacred about being a pedophile protector, he went back to the office and released a totally real, definitely not made up, completely believable text message exchange between Tyler Robinson and his roommate that definitely does not give hello fellow kids vibes at all. And while almost nobody, left, right, or center, seems to be buying into that bullshit, I did find one dumbass who actually seems to believe them. Elvis Alonso here, who's a former cop, go figure. I'm sure judging from all of the unhinged shit he posts online, he definitely didn't get fired for any ethical violations. And I apparently got his little roid rage balls all up in a bunch because he has been crashing out all over my page, trying to convince himself mostly that Tyler Robinson wasn't radicalized by the same right-wing nut jobs that he's personally been radicalized by. When I say crashing out, I don't mean just leaving tons of unhinged comments. He left me a review. And if that wasn't enough Karen-ass shit all by itself, he commented on every other review. And in those comments, he just started spam commenting all of those totally real and not made up text messages that a 22-year-old definitely sent to their roommate. I give you guys the only dipshit on the internet, left side or right side, that believes those are real. Anyway, guys, feel free to go give him the attention he is so clearly desperate for in my reviews over there. Sorry, got a little sidetracked. Back to all of the shit that's been happening recently. My great governor is running for re-election, thank God. Luigi's state terrorism charges were dropped, but that is where the happy news ends, because in the middle of conservatives clutching their pearls about how the left is inciting violence, Fox News host Brian Kilmeade said, hey, we should just kill all the homeless people on national television. And then immediately following that, there was 2 mass shootings in homeless encampments here in Minnesota. And at the same time, Pam Bondi came out and said, fuck the First Amendment, I'm gonna start prosecuting people for the hate speech of saying mean things about poor Charlie. And conservatives are on a cancel campaign trying to get everybody who's ever hurt their fucking feelings fired. Brian Kilmeade has not only not been held legally liable for the violence he very likely incited, he still has a fucking job as a major TV network host where he has received 0 consequences for his words and actions. And the very real violence they've been inciting, which is, not nearly as bad as, of course, insensitive memes about a dead Nazi, is now getting homeless people shot, almost got a news van blown up, has gotten thousands of people doxxed and threatened, got multiple HBCUs shut down for threats. All of that has now resulted in a new crop of strange fruit in Mississippi. 2 black men, Trey Reed and Corey Zutakis, were found hanging from trees in one of the most racist places on earth. One was a homeless man strung up in the woods. The other was hung in the middle of a college campus. And the slave catcher, cops, ruled it a suicide. I'm gonna tell you right now, nobody committing suicide hangs themselves from a fucking tree, especially a black man in Mississippi. And they damn sure don't do it in the middle of a college campus. And even if there was any remote plausibility that there was no foul play, Mississippi, you don't get the benefit of the doubt there. If you find somebody who is darker than an operating table light hanging from a tree, you assume it's a lynching until all investigative options have been exhausted. Because ain't nobody gonna believe that 2 black men in a row strung themselves up in trees in the South ever. Especially in the middle of every racist around raging about going to war over great value Goebbels getting a one-way ticket to the Deep South. So I desperately hope both of these innocent men get the justice they deserve, although I'm sad to say that I doubt they will. And since we clearly can't count on any level of law enforcement, from local cops to the leader of the FBI, to do their damn job, take some extra caution to be safe out there, because it sure as shit ain't safe out there.